What if events went differently in the Star Wars universe? What if the Omnitrix from Ben 10 existed in Star Wars? And what if Anakin Skywalker had access to the Omnitrix? Welcome back, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, to another brand new What If episode, and we have such a unique and such an interesting concept that I don't even believe it was requested, but we ended up doing a What If Ben 10 was in the MCU full movie on this channel, and we got a bunch of well-received comments from that particular video, and now we wanted to do something very interesting. We wanted to do a crossover between the Ben 10 universe and use elements from Ben 10 and bring it into the Star Wars galaxy, especially with a character like Anakin Skywalker, and things are about to go extreme. I'm very excited for this particular What If, and a lot of you guys have been requesting more franchises, and I just thought this crossover felt right. So again, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, I can't wait to dive into this particular episode. But before we do, I would highly recommend, if you guys are new to the channel, we have a brand new YouTube Shorts channel. So we do a bunch of food for thought. You can see it on YouTube, on TikTok, and also on Instagram. So if you guys want more MissedThePart content that is in short form, I guess you could say, I would highly recommend to go check out that channel and give it a subscribe. I would really appreciate the support. It's free to do. And also, I do want to give a massive shout out to our Patreon and YouTube community members. They keep helping bring this channel alive, and it's been amazing to see the engagement from all of the members that we're seeing, and again, it's just fantastic to see. So I really do want to say from the bottom of my heart to members and non-members, I just thank you. It's really amazing. But that being said, let's dive into the brand new What If episode. Long before the Clone Wars, before Darth Sidious was known even to his future master Darth Plagueis, the Sith scoured ancient sites across the Outer Rim for relics that defied the Force. Some were holocrons, some were weapons. One was alive. On the fractured surface of Malachor 5, beneath black obsidian plains, itched with scars from Jedi-Sith wars long forgotten, Sidious unearthed a vault that had no builder, no origin, and no key. Inside it was not a Sith artifact, but something alien, more ancient than the Jedi Order. A metallic band, smooth, circular, marked by a glowing green hourglass symbol, floating above a pedestal of shining white stone. Even Darth Sidious couldn't fully control it. Not then. He called it the Star Bracer. But he waited, watched, planned. He knew the Force had chosen someone for it. He knew that somebody would be Anakin Skywalker. Lightning danced across the skyline. Rain ran down the Chancellor's high windows as Anakin stood frozen in the shadow of choice. Mace Windu's voice echoed, "He's too dangerous to be left alive." And Sidious's, "I have the power to save the ones you love. You must choose." A crimson blade sliced through Windu's hand. Sidious erupted in force lightning, and then it was done. Anakin knelt. "What is my bidding, my master?" Sidious did not gloat. He smiled only slightly, and motioned towards a sealed compartment in the floor. "I promised you power beyond any Jedi. This was made before even the Force had a name." The panel rose, the room darkened, and out of it floated that band, smooth, chrome black, rimmed in alien script, glowing green like a living ember. It speaks to chosen warriors. No Jedi could wield it, not even I. But you were born to break balance. The band flew forward, attached to Anakin's wrist. He gasped, not in pain, in connection. A surge of heat raced up his arm. Light burst from his skin. The room flashed, and for a moment he saw everything. Stars collapsing, worlds burning, his face, infinite forms, surrounded by power, and then silence. The green hourglass symbol glowed softly on his wrist. "What is this?" he whispered. Sidious smiled. The end of fate. This was the Omnitrix, an ancient tool created long ago by an extinct civilization that mapped the DNA of the universe itself. With it, the wearer could transfer into any sentient species in the known galaxy. Not through magic or the Force, but through pure biocode manipulation. It wasn't evil, but it was limitless. And in Anakin Skywalker's hands, it was dangerous. Anakin arrived not in robes, not in armor, but cloaked in shadow. The Omnitrix glowing green like a pulse. As Jedi gathered in the temple atrium, the floor cracked beneath him. As his form shifted, one turn of the dial, a click, and the air rippled. He didn't even need to turn the dial. He used the Force. Where Anakin stood now towered a beast with burning magma skin and rivers of lava glowing under obsidian plates. Heat blast, an alien form forged of plasma and fire, a living weapon. The Jedi charged, and he incinerated them. Pillars melted in the Jedi Temple. Blades were turned to steam. The younglings fled into the comatomes, but he chased them. Not as heat blast, but as XLR-8, a blur of blue, sharp as razors. Moving faster than sound. The temple's energy beacon never had time to activate. By the time clone forces entered, it was already smoke and silence. On Mustafar, Anakin stood alone in the firelight, watching his hand shift between forms. He had learned how to trigger transformations with thoughts now. He no longer needed to turn the dial with the Force. He was becoming something more than human, and Padmé was drifting farther from him with every word he said. Obi-Wan returned to Coruscant with news from Bail Organa. The temple was destroyed. No survivors. Only one recording had survived from the broken security systems. He watched it in the war room. His former Padawan Anakin stood surrounded by flames. First with a creature with crystalline skin, Diamond Head. Then to a massive dinosaur-like juggernaut, Humagosaurus, punching through Durasteel. The footage ended with a final frame. Anakin turning to face the camera, green glowing, flickering on his chest, his eyes black and soulless. Obi-Wan closed the feed. Yoda said nothing. He didn't have to. Sidious instructed Anakin to wipe out the remaining Separatist leaders, but he didn't use his ships or blasters or clones. He used the Omnitrix's powers, one transformation after another. Walls turned to dust, droids melted. He whispered Padmé's name with every step, like he was doing it for her. He wasn't saving her anymore. He was destroying everything, so she would have nothing to fear. And from orbit, Padmé's ship approached. Obi-Wan sat hidden in the cargo hold, watching the planet burn, knowing what waited below was no longer his friend Anakin Skywalker, but something far worse. The skies above Mustafar burned like molten glass as Padmé's Nebula cruiser cut through the ash cloud. The planet trembled beneath with tectonic fury. its rivers of lava surging as though responding to the rage of the one who now walked its surface. Anakin, or Vader now, stood alone on the obsidian platform, overlooking the smelting complex. The Omnitrix on his wrist blinked in rhythmic pulses, faintly glowing beneath his glove. His body was no longer tense. It was still. Too still, like a damn movement from collapse. He had just wiped out the last of the Separatist Council. Not even with sabers, but with alien form after alien form. Forearms, Ghost Freak, Wrath, Ripjaws, submerged, and coolant tanks, tearing apart droids in silence. He didn't remember all of it, just the feeling afterwards, like he'd stepped outside of himself and watched someone else commit the slaughter. He wasn't saving Padmé anymore. He knew that. But if he admitted it, everything would break. So he stood, and he let the lava boil around him. The sound of her voice cracked through the silence. Anakin. Padmé ran from the landing ramp, cloak whipping behind her, tears already in her eyes. He turned, slowly. The wind blew smoke between them. "You shouldn't have come," he said. She reached him, placed her hands on his chest, felt the heat radiating from his armor, felt his heartbeat slower than it should be. "Come away with me. We can go somewhere far. You don't need him. You don't need this." But he didn't look at her. He looked through her. "It's too late. I've done everything. Everything to protect you." She stepped back, a tremble in her lips. This isn't protection. You're becoming something else." He looked down at the Omnitrix, its light pulsing. "I've become more." The cargo ramp opened behind them with a hiss, and out stepped Obi-Wan Kenobi, cloaked, silent, face heavy with sorrow. Anakin's expression shattered. "You brought him here to kill me." Padmé turned in confusion, but she saw the snarl forming on Anakin's face too late. He raised his arm, and the Omnitrix turned black. One twist, one blink of green. And the form he shifted into wasn't like the others. Where Anakin had stood, now stood a tall, sleek, black form, star-patterned skin, shimmering like a galaxy warped in humanoid armor. No eyes, no mouth, no face. Just two glowing white slits where stars flickered behind. Padmé fell backwards. Obi-Wan stepped between her and the thing her husband had become. Inside Alien X's mind, Anakin now stood in a white void. Two towering voices echoed around him. One, a stern, masculine voice. "Preserve order, fulfill destiny, become the future." The other, softer, but just as terrifying. "Feel nothing. Peace is surrender. Love is weakness." Anakin screamed, "Let me out! Let me out!" But Alien X did not move, because inside its mind, every action required agreement. And the voices weren't in agreement. They argued about him. He was trapped inside himself. In the real world, Alien X hovered above the lava plains, arms crossed, watching still, cold. Obi-Wan drew his lightsaber. "If you're in there, Anakin, please fight." Alien X moved. Not with rage, not with fire, with authority. Every step cracked the ground. Each flicker of his hand distorted gravity. He raised massive boulders from the lava and hurled them like comets. Obi-Wan tried dodging, rolled, slashed, but it was like fighting a black hole wearing a man. His words didn't reach him. Only Padmé's screams did. "Anakin!" Inside Alien X's mind, the debate raged. "She's lying. She fears your power." "No, she still loves me." "She wants you weak. We offer strength." Anakin fell to his knees in the void. I don't want to be this anymore. Then a flicker. Obi-Wan in the distance, bleeding, broken. Padmé crying, coughing. And for a moment, he remembered holding her hand in Naboo. He remembered racing in a pod racer for her smile. He remembered his mother. He stood. Let me decide. And the voice cracked. Alien X convulsed, screamed in warped tones. Its form shimmered, cracked, and collapsed inwards. Anakin fell to the ground, smoke rising from his back. The Omnitrix dimmed. He crawled to Padmé, cradled her face. I'm sorry. I couldn't stop it. She sobbed to him. Obi-Wan lowered his saber, heartbroken. You came back. Anakin looked at him, and for the first time in years, he looked like the boy from Tatooine. Help me, Master. We have to stop him. Obi-Wan stepped forward. Then we go together. Meanwhile, Palpatine felt the shift in the Force. The Omnitrix's signal had wavered. He snarled from his meditation chamber. He defies fate. Then he'll be the first to fall. Coruscant was silent, not from peace, but from fear. The Senate was empty, its towering platforms abandoned, its sky windows scorched, black from the battle that now loomed. Lightning cracked across the city skyline. The sky was purple, bruised and swirling, like the Force itself was now wounded. Inside the darkened chamber, Darth Sidious stood at the apex, cloak ripping, hands folded behind his back, watching the city burn through the glass. He knew they were coming. Let him come, he whispered. Let Anakin think he's a god. We will break the divine. The turbo lift opened and out stepped Anakin Skywalker. Shoulder burned, armor scorched, his breathing ragged. Beside him was Obi-Wan, robes torn, lightsaber at his side, gaze like steel. There was no hesitation between them now. No master and apprentice. Brothers. Sidious turned. His face was calm, but the room was already burning. Every molecule vibrating with dark energy. I gave you everything, Sidious hissed. Power no Jedi could imagine. Worlds at your fingertips. You could have ended death itself. Anakin's voice cracked but steady. You promised to save Padmé, but I nearly killed her. The Omnitrix didn't make me stronger. It made me forget who I was. He raised his wrist. The green glow flickered faintly. Now I remember. Sidious ignited his lightsaber. Then die as yourself. The air detonated. The duel began. It wasn't graceful. It was strategic. It was brutal. Sidious came in spinning. Twin strikes to Obi-Wan's chest. Anakin blocked with the Force. Barely in time. The Emperor used every trick in the book. Lightning blasts, rapid strikes, illusions from the dark side swirling around him like a ghost. But Anakin held his own. Each time Sidious struck, Anakin countered as a different alien form. Diamond Head to reflect the lightning. XLR8 to dodge, parry with impossible speed. Forearms to overpower the blade, crashing Sidious into the wall. But Sidious was ancient, cunning, and he was waiting for the moment the Omnitrix would overload. And it did. As Anakin slammed Sidious into the Senate wall, the Omnitrix blinked red. Error tones echoed through the chamber. Warning. Genetic. Destabilization overload imminent. The Omnitrix was dying. Too many transformations. Too much power. The circuitry sparked. The band burned Anakin's skin. He fell to his knees. Sidious rose laughing. You've become a slave to it. You never needed to lose your soul, but you chose to. Obi-Wan jumped in the air, engaging Sidious alone. Blade on blade, breathless strikes until the Sith blasted him back with a wave of force energy that shattered the central platform. Anakin crawled to the wreckage. Smoke rose. The Omnitrix was blinking widely. Warning, DNA unstable. Incoming, form unrecognized. A new silhouette flickered on the Omnitrix's face. Black, winged, massive. Not one of the original aliens. Something new. Override accepted. The device whispered, the final transformation, balance breaker. And then it happened. Anakin screamed, and his body detonated into light. The new form rose from the smoke, winged, luminous, a hybrid of Alien X, Jedi robes, and clone-era armor, eyes glowing white-hot. His saber hit, fused with alien form's forearms. The balance breaker. Not light, not dark, something in between. Even Sidious paused. What are you? Anakin floated above him. I am what comes next. The final strike wasn't a clash. It was a collapse. Anakin didn't lunge. He didn't roar. He raised one hand, and Sidious disintegrated. Not into fire, not into ash, into nothing. The Force convulsed. The chamber exploded in green-white light. And then silence. Coruscant's skyline was quiet once more. The fires were out. Obi-Wan pulled himself from the rubble, blood on his brow. He looked up. Anakin stood in the center of the crater, human again. Omnitrix gone, burned into ash on the floor. It's over, Obi-Wan said softly. Anakin turned, face hollow. No, it's beginning. Padmé survived. The twins were born. Yoda and Bail Organa arrived in secret. The Senate shattered. The Jedi fractured, but not extinct. Obi-Wan left for Tatooine with the children, and Anakin vanished. He couldn't lead, couldn't teach. Not yet. He was still afraid of who he might become if the Omnitrix ever returned. Somewhere, light years away, a hidden vault hums to life. Inside a sealed chamber, buried beneath the red sands of Moraband, a second Omnitrix pulses green in the dark, and from the shadows, a voice speaks. It's time they learn there are more chosen ones, and not all of them are Jedi. And that is going to be it for What If Anakin Skywalker Had the Omnitrix in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Now, what did you think of this Ben 10 crossover video? It's very interesting to see what would have happened with Anakin kind of becoming Alien X. It's a very interesting concept, especially between a conflicted Anakin Skywalker. I really wanted to try something new. I thought I could go and give Anakin the Omnitrix when he's a kid on Tatooine, but I really wanted to do something a little bit different on this channel and give you this particular storyline, and now we could have a part 2 if we wanted to, especially with that ending. Who could get the next Omnitrix? Maybe Darth Maul? Because Palpatine is out of the equation. Or is he? No, he's definitely out. But that being said, my fellow watchers, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn those notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. We're doing a bunch of live streams now on the channel. We're doing Monday and Fridays, so you can expect us to go live on Monday and Friday, and we have different live streams. We have live rights. live discussions on Fic Talk, and we also have, accepting your requests and writing them down. So it's a very interesting thing here on the channel, and I do want to say, fellow watchers, it's amazing seeing all of you interact with the community. I've seen so many messages lately, and just we have so many amazing individuals here, and I want to thank everybody for the support. And that being said, would you like to see more Ben 10 What If fanfictions? And if you do, let me know in the comments down below. That being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, and have a wonderful day. Peace out.